أذني لاستماع آياتك ونور قلبي بنور عرفانك ثم أنطق لساني بذكرك وثنائك فوعزتك يا إلهي لا أحب سواك ولا أريد دونك فوعزتك يا إلهي لا أحب سواك ولا أريد دونك.
Oh my God, there is no one but Thee to allay the anguish of my soul. Ooh. Thou art my highest aspiration. Oh my God, oh my God, ooh, ooh. My My heart is wedded to none save thee, and such as thou dost love, I solemnly declare my life and death are both for thee. Ooh, they are for you. They are for you. For you. Oh my God, there is no one but thee to allay the anguish of my soul. Ooh. Thou art my highest aspiration. Oh my God, oh my God, ooh, ooh.
Happy the one who entereth upon the first day of the month of Baha, the day which God hath consecrated to this great name. And blessed be he who evidenceth on this day the bounties that God hath bestowed upon him. He verily is of those who show forth thanks to God through actions betokening the Lord's munificence, which hath encompassed all the worlds. Say, this day verily is the crown of all the months and the source thereof, the day on which the breath of life is wafted over all created things. Great is the blessedness of him who greeteth it with radiance and joy. We testify that he is, in truth, among those who are blissful.
This sacred day, when the sun illumines equally the whole earth, is called the equinox, and the equinox is the symbol of the manifestation of God. The Sun of Truth rises on the horizon of divine mercy and sends forth its rays. This day is consecrated to commemorate it. It is the beginning of spring. When the sun appears at the equinox, it causes a movement in all living things. The mineral world is set in motion. Plants begin to shoot. The desert is changed into a prairie. Trees bud, and every living thing responds, including the bodies of animals and men. The rising of the sun at the equinox is the symbol of life, and likewise it is the symbol of the divine manifestations of God, For the rising of the Sun of Truth in the heaven of divine bounty established the signal of life for the world. The human reality begins to live. Our thoughts are transformed and our intelligence is quickened. The Sun of Truth bestows eternal life, just as the solar sun is the cause of terrestrial life. Abdul Baha, Star of the West.
هو الله ای طالب ملکوت به الطاف حضرت پروردگار امیدوار باش و از مصائب شدیده این جهان نامید مگرد. الحمدلله خدای مهربان داری که طبیب هر بیمار است و غمخوار هر مبتلا، پناه یتیمان است و معین بی کسان و بی نهایت مهربان. اگر بدانی که قلب عبدالبها چقدر مهربان است، البته از شدت فرح و سرور پرواز نمایی و فریاد وا توبا به اوج آسمان رسانی. والبها علیک
O Lord, my Lord, this is the day which thy sacred tongue and thy pen of glory both have sanctified and made it a day of heavenly blessings, of divine benediction and favor. Thou hast honored it with thy bestowals, endued it with thy grace, and invested it with thy glory, and caused it to be a day of joy and gladness unto them that have turned to the light of thy divine revelation, that the hearts may thereby be gladdened, that the radiance of happiness may illumine the lives of them that remember the manifestation of thy glory upon thy sacred mount. Hallow it, O Lord, with thy grace, and make it a day of joy and blessedness for thy loved ones that have stood fast and firm in thy covenant, thy friends that have sung thy praise, and especially for this servant of thine that hath turned his face to thy holy kingdom, supplicated the glory of thy might and power, circled thy throne of grandeur, and fell prostrate at thy threshold of divine mercy. Thou art the gracious, the bountiful, the all-merciful. Abdul Baha.
Praised be thou, O my God, for thou hast ordained Naw-Ruz as a festival unto those who have observed the fast for love of thee, and abstain from all that is abhorrent unto thee. Grant, O my Lord, that the fire of thy love and the heat produced by the fast enjoined by thee may inflame them in thy cause, and make them to be occupied with thy praise and with remembrance of thee. Since thou hast adorned them, O my Lord, with the ornament of the fast prescribed by thee, do thou adorn them also with the ornament of thine acceptance, through thy grace and bountiful favor. For the doings of men are all dependent upon thy good pleasure, and are conditioned by thy behest. Shouldst thou regard him who hath broken the fast as one who hath observed it, such a man would be reckoned among them who from eternity have been keeping the fast. And shouldst thou decree that he who hath observed the fast hath broken it, that person would be numbered with such as have caused the robe of thy revelation to be stained with dust, and been far removed from the crystal waters of this living fountain. Thou art he through whom the ensign, praiseworthy art thou in thy works, hath been lifted up, and the standard, obeyed art thou in thy behest, hath been unfurled. Make known this thy station, O my God, unto thy servants, that they may be made aware that the excellence of all things is dependent upon thy bidding and thy word, and the virtue of every act is conditioned by thy leave and the good pleasure of thy will. And may recognize that the reins of men's doings are within the grasp of thine acceptance and thy commandment. Make this known unto them, that nothing whatsoever may shut them out from thy beauty, in these days whereon the Christ exclaimeth, all dominion is thine, O thou the begetter of the Spirit, and thy friend crieth out, Glory be to thee, O thou the best beloved, for that thou hast uncovered thy beauty and written down for thy chosen ones what will cause them to attain unto the seat of the revelation of thy most great name, through which all the peoples have lamented, except such as have detached themselves from all else except thee, and set themselves towards him who is the revealer of thyself, and the manifestation of thine attributes. He who is thy branch and all thy company, O my Lord, have broken this day their fast, after having observed it within the precincts of thy court, and in their eagerness to please thee. Do thou ordain for him, and for them, and for all such as have entered thy presence in those days, all the good thou didst destine in thy book. Supply them, then, with that which will profit them, in both this life and in the life beyond. Thou, in truth, art the all-knowing, the all-wise.
villages, mountains, deserts and oceans. Promote the divine teachings, this alas I cannot do. How intensely I deplore it, please God ye may achieve it. And raising the call of Ya Baha'u'llah in cities, villages, mountains, deserts and oceans, and raising the call of Ya Baha'u'llah in cities, villages, mountains, deserts and oceans. Oh, that I could travel, even though on foot, and in the utmost poverty, to these regions, and raising the call of Ya Baha'u'llah in cities, villages, mountains, deserts and oceans, and raising the call of Ya Baha'u'llah in cities, villages, mountains, deserts and oceans, and raising the call of Ya Baha'u'llah in cities, villages, mountains, deserts and oceans.
Be as a lamp shining forth with the light of the virtues of the world of humanity. Be as a lamp shining forth. Complete love, affection toward all mankind. Be a Baha'i, be a Baha'i. Turn all your thoughts towards bringing joy to hearts. Be a Baha'i, be a Baha'i, be a Baha'i. Turn all your thoughts towards bringing joy to hearts. Be a Baha'i. Be a Baha'i, be a Baha'i, be quakened of God. Be a Baha'i, be a Baha'i, be a Baha'i, be quakened of God. Be a Baha'i, be illumined. Be a Baha'i, be spiritual. Be a Baha'i, be divine. Be glorious. Be a Baha'i, be illumined. Be a Baha'i, be spiritual. Be a Baha'i.